there! My name is Miss Stevens, and today we're going to talk about the paintbrush. Did you know that a paintbrush has 3 parts? This part right here, it's called the handle. It's called the handle because you guessed it, that's where your hand goes, and your hand can go here. Your hand could go there. Your hand could go all the way back here, although it's a little bit tricky to control the brush. Deciding where to put your hand is how much control you will have over your paintbrush. The closer to the metal band, the more control you'll have. The further away, the less. This metal band right here, it's called the ferrule, but I like to call it the danger zone. Because if you put your fingers there, they are in danger of getting paint on them. Last but not least, we have its cute, pointy little toes. That's what I call these guys. They're actually the bristles. So today what we're going to do is practice painting with our brush being up and down or vertical. We're going to try really hard to keep our paintbrush, that I call a paintbrush ballerina, on its tippy toes. I want you to repeat after me. My paintbrush is like a ballerina. It's always on its tippy toes. It never ever scoots around on its booty because nobody wants to go to the booty scooty ballet, which sounds pretty funny. So let's dive in and practice our painting.
Let's go over the parts of the brush again. This is the handle. That's where my hand goes. Where I put my hand is how much control I have over the brush. At the end, not much control. I like to hold it somewhere in the middle. The next part is the ferrule, or the metal band that I call the danger zone. I keep my fingers away from there, or they are in danger of getting dirty. And of course, the very end are the ballerina toes. If you've already done your paintbrush practice sheet, then you might want to get a piece of construction paper and join me as we continue practicing our lines. A dark color of construction paper works really well, and I'm just using a cup of water. And I am copying the lines on the sheet, but this time I'm not tracing over them. I'm trying to paint them myself. If at any time it's hard for you to paint those lines, then go back to practicing on the sheet again so that your hand and your mind can together learn how to create that kind of line. The reason we practice is so that we get better. So if you feel like, oh, this is a little hard, I'm not sure how to do this, that's why we're here. We're learning, we're growing, and we're practicing. So all of those things that we practice on the sheet, we're now practicing over again on a piece of construction paper. Now you might have noticed that something interesting is happening, that my lines are disappearing. They're slowly fading away. Where are they going? The water is slowly evaporating. It's drying, and as it leaves the paper, you can no longer see the lines, which is really cool because it means we can just keep practicing with water on this piece of paper. As you make your lines, some lines will be small, and you'll just have to move your hand to create those lines. Larger lines, you may have to stretch your whole arm. For example, this wavy line is small, so my fingers are just going up and down and up and down. But for the bigger line, I had to move my whole arm up and then down. Now that I'm done with one side, I'm going to practice these curved and spiral lines. These are a little bit tricky, but again, this is why we're practicing. If at any point you need to practice some more, just hop back over to your practice sheet, especially when it comes to those spirals. They can be a little tricky, which of course is why we practice. You can paint along with me, or you can watch me and then paint afterward. I might be going a little fast, and if ever I am going too fast, you can always pause. Again, practicing is what we're here for, and so just using a cup of water on a dark piece of paper, and if you don't have construction paper, do you know what else would work? A paper bag might work from the grocery store, or even the back of a sheet of old homework would work as well. Any place where you can practice with just water and painting those lines. Our focus today is paintbrush practice. Our paintbrush is like a ballerina. We've got to keep her on her tippy toes because we never ever want to scoot her around on her bottom because we all know, we don't want to go to the booty scooty ballet. I'm starting back up again at the top because I've been painting for so long that my lines have started to dry. Now I'm going to try those spiral lines. Remember, when you make spirals, you can either make them starting on the outside going in or on the inside going out. You might find that one way for you is easier than another way. You may like the way they look better doing it one way or the other. The choice is yours. You are the artist, so you get to decide. Once you have practiced all of your lines on your paper, think about any lines that you may need to practice a little bit more. The ones that weren't very easy for you to paint. For me, that's always a spiral. And if you are struggling to paint something like a spiral and you're starting to get frustrated, then maybe take a little break. You can always put your paintbrush down and come back to it later. I am doing spirals overlapping one another, so it almost fills my whole page. No matter what you do, no matter what you create, I hope that you had fun. All right, I'm going to fill up my paper with some more lines while you practice on yours. I'll see you soon. Toodles!